So if you're in the beginning here, waiting in the wings, you may notice you can't see me, and also there's a bunch of noises. I lost track of time a little bit, so I'm doing some cleanup that should have been done before I started. But I'm doing it now. Shan't take long. Hardly anyone comes in at the very beginning anyway, so we'll have plenty of time. Hopefully, on the docket today we have. I forgot to change the title. I think it still says something about cookies. Let me double check that. Oh, for breakfast? No, not for breakfast. Oh ho! Hi, chemical. Oh my god. It's a chemical raid. It's a full-time chemical raid. Toka's here. I guess I got to turn my face on. Nope. So this is why I wasn't doing it with the camera off, because you can't see anything with that light on. Hello, hello. I've got some pre-cooking cleanup that I was doing while I hope for people to trickle in. And more than a trickle, we have several people roll in. Welcome in. I don't know if you caught the disaster that was this past Saturday, where I made Oreos and they were actually completely inedible. I ate one and I threw the rest of them away. So we're going to be doing that today. That's the main event. And I'll show it off to you. We're gonna get to this later. We've just passed the season on this stuff. Copper River salmon from the Copper River, Alaska. It's king salmon from Alaska. This is the nicest salmon I've ever had. It's also the most expensive salmon I've ever had. This fillet, on the other hand, cost just shy of $9, which is a fantastic deal. This stuff sells for $27 a pound. They've got it marked down to $11 a pound because they were trying to get rid of it because it's the very end of the season and they've taken it out of the case. They want to get rid of it. So that's going to be my dinner, because I can't eat a handful of Oreos for dinner. Let me get you back on I'm going to put you back on this screen so I can put my sink light on and finish these guys up. But what were you guys doing? What was going on over in your neck of the woods? I'm so surprised. I got a raid right at the start. Also, I have to look over. I don't want to do all the dishes while I've got the camera on because the light over the sink blows out my main camera. And I've tried shielding it, and then it doesn't help. The way the light is, it's just the camera can't handle it. Ooh. Cozy Grove, Horizon. I keep meaning to play Horizon. I own it. I bought it on Steam. And I just never got around to it. In part because my computer had some significant heat issues, and those high load games would cause it to overheat and abruptly stop working. But I've got those fixed. I've been able to run things perfectly fine on it. I just never got back to things like Horizon. And yes, it's hot. It's nearly 90 where I am. Um, but even worse than that, it's so humid. I took a screenshot last night. We hit 100% humidity last night, which is just insane. It's when the air just stops being air and turns directly to water. Um, and it's not quite that humid now, but that's just because it's so much hotter. It's still crazy humid. I haven't even been running the air conditioner. I have my AC set to a dehumidifier mode just because I don't want it to stop dehumidifying. It's so humid outside. Um, I could barely stand to walk outside in it. So I probably should. Let's see. Since I've got people, I was using this as an excuse to kill some time while people filtered in, but now there's people here, so I should jump ahead to the actual starting part. Um, which means we should clean the schmutz off of my. Where did I put my scrubby? Just set it down. Oh, fine. Clean the schmutz off of my stove top. And then we can fire it up and get started. So in theory, I've got a recipe for Oreos. We're making Oreos. That's the thing. Making just any old cookie, there's a million recipes for them. I wanted to make Oreos. And I found a recipe that I tried using, but I didn't quite trust it. And I still don't trust it. Oh, I don't know why. Yeah, I only have a window unit as well. It's in the room right over. Oop, you can't even see me. It's in the room. Leave this light on again. Lights. It's in the room right next over there where my camera station is. Raid message. I see one emote. There's a purple heart in the message you posted. That's the only one I see. I don't have any settings that I'm allowing all the stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what might have caused that. Anyways, let's get rolling. So this is the recipe. I've jotted it down. This is why I never post recipes, because I need to learn how to write recipes so that other people can read them. This is my recipe. It's got a flow chart in it. Maybe I should just write my recipes with flow charts and see if that works. And we can put the gentlemen away. We don't need them for this part. And this guy's going to have to move at some point too, because this is a rollout. So let's get our ingredients. I didn't pre-soften the butter, so I'm going to have to get that out first to let it stand. So Once again, butter softened to room temperature, ideally. Sugar. I was going to change the title. That's right. Just modifying it because there's no longer breakfast. Because it's not breakfast time for me. Thank you for reminding me. Got just the tail end of sugar here. Hopefully that's enough. It's also kind of stuck. You can see. I think that's the humidity getting to it. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems. Who knows? So butter, sugar, golden syrup, which thankfully I didn't use very much of last time. We've still got that. This stuff has been, I've used it a couple times since, just since Saturday. I really like this. This is much better and more like different than I think comparable American versions of sugar syrups, cooking syrups. So I'm going to keep my eye out for this and get it in the future. Baking soda. Last time we did have a little snafu right at the beginning in that I put baking powder in my sugar mix and then I had to throw out the sugar mix. I didn't bother trying to dig it out. I just started over since it was just sugar, salt, and baking powder. So this time I'm baking soda. I'm double checking before I start. Salt, which we have handy here on the counter at all times. Get one of these handy little flip things. Put your kosher salt in there, and you can just take a pinch of it whenever you need salt. I recommend getting a cheap, affordable version. That one was $1. But they're just handy to have in a dish. All-purpose flour, which I still have plenty of, since I don't make a lot of bread in the summer because the heat A, throws off the rising, and B, makes the bread spoil faster. I should still make breads just so I can have bread. Oh, I wonder if there's a delay. Get the flour out. So flour, as always, comes in the flour tower. Hi, you're not late at all. I'm still just assembling ingredients. We had a delightful raid to kick off the stream. I was going to kill some time by catching up some dishes since I lost track of time on the start, but everyone's here. People have come out of the woodwork, left and right. So I'm kicking in. We're just gonna have to work around that little clutter in the sink there. And cocoa powder. And I wasn't sure if I had enough cocoa powder left in this one. That's probably enough, honestly. But I did buy a backup just in case of an even cheaper store brand cocoa powder. I also bought more sugar just in case because I am actually worried that might not be enough. So yeah. Those are the ingredients of the base cookie part. The problems with the cream filling are their own whole other problem. So rather than having a nice project that we end up with, oh my God, that is an adorable little emote. Instead of having a normal, like, I'm going to make the thing, and then at the end we'll have the thing. I'm going to make the thing today perhaps multiple times. I kept this. That is the remaining dough ball from last time. And I kept the little wad of cream filling that I didn't use. This has hardened to a rock in the fridge, which is going to be the culprit of the fact that it's got all that butter in it. So I guess we're going to leave those guys out to warm up. Oh yeah, I've also still got the coconut milk. I think I'm going to just freeform the frosting, rather than follow a recipe, since the recipe I followed for the frosting was such a, it completely misled me. So yeah, we'll keep the recipe note handy. We'll start making stuff. I'm wondering if I need to cream the sugar and butter together more thoroughly before I move on. We might end up with the beaters for this one instead of doing it by hand, just to make sure that they are very well combined. My sugar does not like the humid weather and keeps solidifying, and then I have to go in there with my finger until it's loose sugar again. Have a good lurk, Chemical, and thanks for the lurk. Lurkers are always appreciated. As Tug says, I think Tug says this, lurkers are the backbone of any channel. I should get a lurk message. That's a good one to. I still haven't set up my bot to do any messages. Oh, well, I guess I had half a cup of sugar left. I guess I had half a cup of sugar left, which is good because I wanted to finish the sugar out of this container because I wanted to wash this container and repurpose it. We'll just a little drop in there. Okay, that's good. That's good. It means I can't mess up at all because I don't have another sugar. No, that's a lie. I thought I might run out, so I grabbed more sugar. No, I was lying to you like a liar. Quarter teaspoon salt. Tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to cream the sugar and butter together first, thoroughly, with the salt. With the salt. Before I start adding any of the other stuff, just to be extra cautious with it. Which means we need to open up and cut up the butter. And if it's not soft enough, which is so warm in here that this stuff is going to start softening real fast. If it's not quite soft enough to do, I will let it stand and prep a few other things while I wait for it. Knife. I'm also wondering if I maybe shouldn't do all the butter in one big lump, and you do like part of it and then the other part of it after it's started to combine. God, baking is hard. Guys, baking is hard. I don't know if anyone's told you, but I'm bad at baking. Okay, spoon. Break up the lumps of butter. Get them started. Yes, baking is this is a science experiment. Um, I would really like the end result to be edible this time. That would be good. Uh, I feel like I need to start this off with my hands, honestly. I don't know that I have enough leverage or enough oomph with the spoon to really get it started. Okay, butter. I licked off the knife. But that's fine because the last time we're using the knife. Okay, I am going to put the spoon aside and start this with my hands just to get the parts combined. I know we did this last time, but there's little lumps in there that I don't think I would notice using the spoon. But my fingers can easily pick up on them. Of course, this also means that I'm going to have to scrape down my hand again because there's quite a bit of sugar and butter staying on my finger while I'm doing it, although not quite as much as I had feared. A little bit of loss to my hand. But yeah, so we're being careful to follow my instructions closely. I think that's enough, softened enough that I can get at it with the spoon to continue. So I will scrape down my hand. Uh, I, I should rinse off my hand, but I'm going to first lick off my hand because this is salt, sugar, and butter. This is the definition of delicious. So rather than just rinse it all down the drain, we'll give it a quick lick. And then rinse the remainder. Since I don't want to be here all day licking my hand, and that also would be kind of gross. Ah, okay. I'm also not going to make the mistake I made last time and do the entire thing at once. We're going to do test batches when we get to the baking part, because I don't want a repeat of I've used all my ingredients, ruined it, and then we have to stop. I did get a little culinary surprise today. Uh, one of my friends has been growing mushrooms, and they have been, I guess, incredibly productive. He's looking to sell them. He has given me a sample. Um, and he told me to plug his. It's. Oh, I should have written it down. I think it's Fox Friendly Farms. Is his website. He gave me a massive cluster of oyster mushroom. So we may incorporate that today, or I may save it for a future event. I could do it as a main event on. I could do an impromptu Thursday. Use it as a main event. Don't think it'll keep in good condition to Saturday. I definitely want to use it while it's in tip-top condition because it's farm fresh mushroom. Okay. I'm going to get a secondary small scraper to de-gunk the spoon. I think we had this problem last time where the stuff was so sticky I am having to switch to different scraping devices. Keep the spoon handy. And yes, I'm perhaps overworking this at this point, but I want to make sure it's well combined. I want because it's another thing that it was doing. It the butter didn't melt out, but it left a residue on my hands that wasn't just the carbonized part. Some of it was that, but so I want to make sure the butter is well combined because I'm afraid it might separate a little bit if I don't. Okay, let's add the baking soda to our mixture in the size of a half teaspoon. Try to work around the little lumps that are in there. Get a nice smooth scoop. Now that is an important element of this, I know, because if you add alkaline, which baking soda is an alkaline, to a cocoa powder, that's what makes the cocoa powder go super dark, blackish in baking. And that's the trick. The Nabisco, when they're making Oreos, they aren't putting much baking powder in their cocoa. The cocoa they use is heavily alkaline. It's already very, very dark black when it's introduced. Um, but you just can't get that stuff. I saw a little lump floating around in there, so I'm going to once again work this very thoroughly. Okay. Then the golden syrup, which will, in theory, loosen this up right away and quite a lot. 3 tablespoons. Again, this must be a British recipe because golden syrup is not an ingredient you ever see around these parts. The idea behind using a solid sugar and then a liquid sugar is that, and I believe I mentioned this when I made it the first time because it's just a fun science thing. The 2 sugars get in each other's way while if they try to crystallize. Uh, that's how high fructose corn syrup works. America's favorite high fructose corn syrup. Um, it's a blend of fructose and sucrose, and because there are 2 sugars in there that can't crystallize together, they get in each other's way and prevent the whole thing from crystallizing. Even though there's more sugar in the mix than could otherwise be in the solution, it would just turn to solid sugar. Um, and that's what you're doing here. And in any baking, when you are adding 2 different kinds of sugar, especially when one is pre-liquidy, there's also a little bit of water in the golden syrup because it's made from cane sugar juice. It's just not fully refined down to just solid sugar. Uh, Scraping the bottom of the bowl to make sure I'm getting all this stuff, and to make sure there's no lumps, there's no bubbles, there's a couple bubbles because it's inevitable, but very thoroughly combined. Okay, then we set that to the side. Get out another large bowl. I'm going to get out the giant bowl because I spilled over the edges last time in the sifting process. And I don't want that to happen again. So this time, the biggest bowl. 1 1/4 cups all-purpose flour. So 5 of these. This is my 1/4 cup. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have chosen to not I've chosen to follow the recipe I have, which goes with cups. I could have gone hunting and see if I could find the same or similar recipe that uses it by weight instead of by volume, and that might might have been a wise decision, but I didn't do that. So let's get that sifted. The flour, of course, as with most store-bought flour, comes pre-sifted, so the sifting for the flour is not incredibly important. Worked this last time. How many tablespoons is 1/3 of a cup? Oh, that 5 1/3. Let's see. That also would be a thing that would be easier to do by weight. But here we are. We're doing it by volume again. I'm less confident. Last on Saturday, I was very cavalier about the whole process because I figured I've got a recipe. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong. Well, not everything went wrong, but the end result was wrong. So I'm much less confident today about basically the same thing, even though I'm doing basically the same thing. I'm also not going to get this on my fingers. We're going to use the edge of a knife to level the cocoa powder and to get it out of there, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5. And evidently I did not need to pick up additional cocoa powder. We have plenty. 5. And 1/3. Again, I don't think that is a huge concern of it not being exactly 1/3. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's where everything goes wrong. I don't know. So okay. Our flour and cocoa are sifted out. They're not sifted together just yet, but they are sifted into each other. I'm going to run a whisk through that to get them actually combined before I introduce them to the wet stuff. I don't know if that matters, but again, I guess I'm behaving with what I feel like are the things that I should be cautious about, rather than knowing which things could trip me up. So I could very easily be doing something that will trip me up and not even realize it. And then we have the question of, should I add the butter mixture on top of this, mix it in the big bowl, or try to pour this over the top of that again? Because this is already sifted. So I could re-sift it, or I could introduce the butter mixture bit by bit. How's this thing warming up? Okay, that's developing a little bit of softness. I'm gonna chill this, which I didn't do last time. I just rolled it immediately because the recipe said use immediately. Um, we're gonna add this a bit at a time. So, what's new with any of you? There's some people watching. I had a pretty. I mean, if you're not aware, and if you're not in the U.S., you might not be aware. Uh, Yesterday was Independence Day here in the States. I had really lousy weather for it. Storms did clear up. We had storms earlier in the day. The storms did clear up in time for the fireworks, but the weather went from stormy to so unbelievably humid that you could barely walk outside, which was a problem. And then when you shoot fireworks into that, all the fine particulate powder, the smoke, comes out of them, immediately condenses, immediately gives that saturated air something to grab onto, and it forms obscuring clouds and fog all around the fireworks display. Not to mention it just being awful to try to stand outside in that kind of conditions. Uh, so that's how my fourth went. Get this stuff off of here. Again, I feel like I want to go at this with my hands more than the paddle. I keep licking my fingers. Oh, I just licked my finger now. I was about to dive in. Wash your hands if you lick your fingers. I keep licking my fingers, and at this stage, this whole thing tastes great. If I could just make it taste this good all the way to it being cookies, uh, I'm in good shape. That got out of the way. Dry my hands off using a towel real quick. Since we're approaching the phase when I want to. Oh, it's a little echoey in here. I hope that doesn't pick up on the mic. We're approaching the phase when I'm going to dive in with my hands. Oh, I haven't watched any of the new season of Stranger Things yet, so no spoilers. But ooh, Stranger Things. this off of here. Get off. Now, I know from experience that this will get less sticky once it really picks up the bulk of the uh, cocoa powder. But I want to go at this with my fingers at this point. I think that's going to be a more efficient way of making it like become a dough. So do you think the because you've seen all the Stranger Things at this point, except for whatever their final episode may be. Do you think they got better or got worse? I quite liked the early stuff. The first season was very good. I thought the second season was very good. Uh, then I thought they kind of went downhill for that. So what do you think? Are they gone back uphill? Have they improved? Use this dough ball to pick up powder from the side of the bowl. Okay. Well, I mean, it was always kind of over the top. The concept was very like concept was at the same time simple but also very like complex. Get off me. Pick all that stuff up with the dough ball. Get the bits off the bottom into the dough ball. Get into the dough ball. Here's our dough ball. Once again, it's not super good for the old hands. I want it to be really well combined. It's very sticky. Well, it's not very sticky. It's rather sticky. Get to the point where I can't see any like lumps in it. Okay. There's your dough ball. There's the result on the hands. It leaves quite a residue. So I'm gonna clean my hand real quick. Ta-da! Hands. I want that to rest in the fridge a little bit, not a ton, a little bit, before I get into it at all. And the extra pieces are going to rest in the fridge while we're working with each chunk of it as well. because I don't trust it. It seems too soft right now. To work with. So I'm going to say that it's too soft to work with. It sure has a smell of sweetened butter to it, which is quite the thing. Ta-da! Okay. Let's get you resting up. Get my bowls out of the way. Clean my countertop. Oh, that's where that comes from. I was wondering. You probably can't even see it. There's this slight discoloration that appears on my countertop sometimes. I've just figured out where it comes from. It's when I've got a large steel bowl that I'm rotating. It leaves little scuffs on the counter. They wipe off, so it's got to be coming from the bowl. Wondering what those were. Now I know. We've got this guy who has been in there resting since Saturday. I never got back to it. I never undertook a tester on it because I wanted to do it here live on the air. This stuff, the frosting, was a consistent problem, I feel. So we're probably going to just ad-lib some frosting. So baking sheet. Of course, this time I'm using the small baking sheet. Or should I just use the big bake? I'm just going to use the big baking sheet. Because I can fit the... Where did I put the big baking sheet? Oh, okay. Well, the big baking sheet is currently very hot because the big baking sheet was inside the oven when I just preheated it. So that's a mistake that I made. Not the end of the world, but not ideal. Well, I guess I am using the small baking sheet for this batch. In which case, I guess I'll just cut the parchment. Ugh. Because really, I need a half of this. I should just spring for the perforated parchment. Good enough. Hello! You're here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I just realized I'm an hour in and we haven't accomplished much. Good thing that my plans for the actual dinner part of tonight's dinner are fast. Although I should probably put some rice on. We'll move that. I'm going to roll this guy out now. So again, this is the leftover bit of dough from the previous one. The recipe claimed it could sit in the fridge for up to a week. And it has not been nearly a week. So hypothetically, this dough is fine to use for this. I'll do this now. Get them started. Okay, this guy. Get the dusting on the outside of him so he's not quite so sticky. Although he's much less sticky after having rested. And then we get our rolling pin, dust that up. And we start rolling and hope that this works. It's already kind of not working. It's very brittle. Try to squinch those cracked edges in. Okay, so a little less brittle. Yes, don't forget water. We did that one time. I was amazed at how fast the rice cooked. And then it was just lightly warmed dry rice. Yeah, I feel like this is not quite warm enough. It's getting there as I roll it out, it's starting to soften up as it becomes thinner and really gets room temperatured. I'll tell you what, though, it's not sticking like it did when I did it the last time. It's kind of a fragile dough, but see, I can pick it up. It didn't stick. It's cracking around the edges, but it's pretty thin too, which is I remember this is just the remainder, so this is a very small amount I've got here. Let's give it a punch and see what happens. Eh, like a cookie to me. Gotta not press quite so hard. I feel like this little brandy's glass is not quite up to the task of taking my leaning into it. Okay, 6 cookies and some debris. The debris comes off a little bit easier this time as well. I wonder if just letting it rest was better. Just like giving it a chance to kind of all the ingredients to get to know each other. Can I get these guys? Ooh, I can get these guys off without the scraper. What are you, tiny bug? I can get these off without the scraper. I can pick them up. Okay. But see, they're holding together. And they're not. And that one's a little bit more stuck. But they're giving me hope. Space them out. And that stuff just sort of dusts off. So that one's a little bit more stuck as well. And the last one came off pretty easy. It wasn't even that floury on the bottom or cocoa-y on the bottom. Okay. Well, we got 6 cookies out of that one. I could re-roll this together and maybe get a couple more, 2 more. Let's give it a shot. See if I can get 2 more good cookies out of that batch. And then we can try baking. Because it's not cold anymore, that's for sure. But it still seems less sticky than it did when I was working with it on Saturday. Oh, speak of the devil. He shall make your cookie dough sticky. Okay. Punch. Punch. Squinch this together. Maybe punch. Take that part off and put it over here. I think we can get one more on this side. Okay, that was a bit of a mess. I'll keep track of which ones they are. Oh, and I put fingerprints in that one. Okay, we're definitely getting to the end of what I can reasonably recombine into a circle, though. And again, it just feels less. Oh, that one broke a little bit. It feels a lot easier to work with, even now that it's kind of warmed up. And I'm wondering if it's just a factor of it had a chance to rest before I dove in on it. Which has me hopeful that the fresh batch I just made will also work on account of its resting. You're right. It's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll take it to the right thickness. Tuck the sides in and just break it. That's a good idea. That's why we have. That's why you're here. You're the idea person. Don't want them too close together because they did spread just a tiny, tiny bit. So they need just a hair of breathing room. Okay, well, that's our first plate. They're a little misshapen in spots. Gonna rinse my hands off real quick. Hopefully the other baking sheet cools off in time for me to use it. It should. Thin aluminum. So we're gonna put this one in. Before I put that in, I'm gonna get a timer ready. And we are going to respect the timer. My tablet is frozen on the lock screen, and then it ignored my lock. Just great. Timer. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Put that there. Take the cookies. Put them in the oven. Right in the middle. Start the timer. Think about what we've done with our lives. I am going to let the other dough ball rest for at least the duration of that batch that's going in right now. So that gives us a brief time during which I'm going to tidy up a little bit. So bear with me. Or, tiger with me. If that's more your jam. I'm not going to wash off the rolling pin because I'm going to have to re-powder it, but I'm scraping the little stuck-on bits off now so they don't have a chance to dry in place later. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Gonna have a couple dishes. We've also got my dinner to think about, which I'm planning rice. I don't have the real estate for it, so I guess the rice is going to go in the other room. And we'll bring it back in later when it's done. So that's a little bit awkward. Okay. I don't want to put the rice bowl on there, so I'll do it over in the corner. That plastic. Oh, actually, we can use that as a shield. I've got a little bit of this sushi rice left. So I'm going to cook that. Let's see how much I've got. Eh. The dish of the rice cooker actually has measurements on it, but I don't trust them. A common problem these days, me not trusting packaging. We got a bit less than a cup. So, to that, I'm going to be adding a cup and a half. Hair more than a cup and a half. I want this to be sticky, so I'm actually going to add just a splash more. And I'm not going to rinse it. We've gone over rice rinsing before. Rinsing removes a bunch of the excess starches from the surface, but I want this to be sticky, so I'm going to leave those starches, and it'll help it glue together so I can work with it later. Yeah. So, good opportunity to do a bit of cleanup. The main event, I showed the raid that arrived way back at the beginning, got a preview of our main event dinner item. But I will, Carbon or Jen. Do you prefer Carbon or Jen? Welcome in. You've come at a excitingly intermediate time. Jen, okay. Well, welcome in, Jen. We have a batch of cookies in the oven that is made from the dough I made on Saturday that was left over. Our fresh dough, I suppose this is an update for everyone who just got here. Our fresh dough is resting in the fridge, firming up a little bit before I try working with it. And we have a timer going. And I was just about to tell you about the wonderful item that I have picked up for my dinner, which I'll also be making dinner in addition to the cookies. It's not a very long dinner. The rice is the longest thing, and that literally goes by itself. I found a piece of Copper River salmon on sale. And it wasn't labeled as, it's first of all, it wasn't short dated. I think they were just clearing out the case and they're like, okay, discount it because we want to make sure it sells. I remember seeing it when it appeared in the fish case initially. The grocery was selling it for $27.99 a pound, which is honestly less than I thought it was going to be, because that's about what it was last year when we weren't having a crazy inflation spike. But I didn't buy it at that price. I almost bought it. It would have been a show. It would have been a main event show if I'd bought it at that price, and we would have done something fun with it, or tried to. I got it for I got a fillet for $9. So a little bit less than a pound. So very, very steep discount. I was extremely happy to see that. Uh, and it wasn't like a lot of the time when I get my meat out of the discount bin, it's very short dated. It's use it today or it's gone. This was not that. It's only got a few days on it, but it's not like last chance you or it's gone. It has it had a little bit of time on it, so I picked it up and I figured I would do it today, and it is the finest of salmons. So I'm going to attempt to treat it right, but I don't want to treat it boring. So we'll see if I accidentally ruin it now. Getting it on discount has given me a little bit of confidence to attempt something with it that I probably wouldn't if I bought it at full price. I'm going to go for a sear and try to leave it raw in the middle. We may do it in small pieces just in case it doesn't work. I don't want to ruin the whole thing. But that'll be a very, 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 very fast cook. Well, I'm a little worried because it's a pretty thin piece, and salmon has a habit of sticking a bit more than tuna does. Usually you see that seared surface on a tuna, a much firmer fish. Salmon's a bit soft, and in my experience, has a habit of trying to stick even when you do it really hot and fast and quick. So that's what I'm going to try to do it, but I'm not going to do the whole thing at once because I'm afraid it might actually stick, like glue itself down, and then I'll have to scrape it up and ruin the whole thing. So do it in little pieces. And that's what the rice is for. I'm going to make some kind of rice bowl with just barely seared top quality salmon. That's the goal. That's the dream. At the minute, I'm not doing that. Suppose I've got the camera pointed at nothing right now, since I'm over at the sink chit chatting. Lack of AC in this weather is not good. Yes, you missed the kind of salmon. It's Copper River salmon. I found a piece of Copper River salmon. Here it is. I'll go back to the countertop. It's still in its package. It's got this beautiful dark red color, really thin lines on it. That is a drop of something that's on the outside from something else in my fridge. Very nice piece. As you can see, extreme discount. This is not steelhead. Copper River is king salmon. King salmon is the species that spawns in the Copper River. Steelhead is also pretty good, but this specific salmon, the stuff that's marketed as Copper River salmon, to my knowledge at least, I could be wrong. Feel free to look up and correct me. But as far as I'm aware, it's king salmon. And who knows? Maybe I'm confusing it, and king and steelhead are the same. I know some of those fish have like 4 or 5 names, so I could just be not aware that they're the same thing under different names. I think it's the best salmon. I've never had a better salmon than it, so I'm willing to take their braggadocious claim of the world's best. Anyways, that's going to be our project. Once I've figured out how the the cookies work. Let's see. One of you asked what pan I'm going to use. Well, for a sear, I need something flat bottomed and non-stick that can take high heat. Okay, it is also king salmon. Okay, so it's one of those guys that has more than one name. I wish they wouldn't do that. We should never have called the Patagonian toothfish the Chilean sea bass, because now we're overfishing them. When they were called the Patagonian toothfish, nobody ate them. I have a small cast iron. I could use the small cast iron. Try to do it. I think the big one is going to be too big. So yes, I think the smaller cast iron pan is probably going to be what I'm going to try to hit that fish on. Oh, I can't see my timer anymore. My screen's going to sleep. Wake up. 1.5 minutes left before I can check on the cookies. They smell very chocolatey. That's the thing. I didn't mention this last time when I burned them. At no point during the cooking did they smell burned. But the next day, when I went out and came back home, I could smell this sort of residual carbony smell in the air. So they must have just burned very slowly. But we are under a minute now. And then we can make this a little bit more of an exciting show, because damn it, I left the camera over there on the nothing again. I was going to point it at the back of my head, so you at least see the back of my head while I'm doing this. I'm trying to keep ahead on the dishes a little bit, because I tend to produce a load of dishes. We've got 20 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop the timer and pull them out. And bring you guys over with me. This is what they look like. Spider, you don't want to be there. No, Spider, no, no, no. Get off the stove, Spider. Spiders don't belong on stoves. Anyways, this is what they look like now. Let's take one of these guys. So they're very hot. Too hot to touch. I shouldn't have picked that one up. Putting it back. They're solid. As you can see, I could pick that one up, and I could toss it around, and it didn't fall apart. It's just it was too hot to put on my fingers. I don't really want to put them back in at this point. So I'm going to get them off of, I'm going to get them off of that sheet. Damn it, the rolling pin keeps wanting to roll, almost like it's a rolling pin. I'm going to get them off of that sheet, put them on the wire rack so that they will cool better. We have the wire rack handy. We may as well use it. This one is now cool enough to touch, so that's good. They look good. They've got a dark brown color, but they're not quite as black as they were for the other batch. They've not stuck at all. They scoop up very easily. They are a little bit soft, right in the middle on the top. But they're structurally sound around the edges. And yeah, hot, hot, hot. They're still leaving little chocolatey residues on my fingers, which I'm not a huge fan of. Boy, these non-circular ones are really hard to pick up with the scooper. So, if you can tell, they're leaving a little bit of a chocolate residue. We can try pressing them down. We have a large amount of dough now that I can roll out bits of it and do this in more stages. This one this one is by the letter. I'm not doing anything other than what the recipe said. So thanks, Jen. We will try that. We can try that with another round of them. But this one I want to just do like this. Yeah. So I'd like to see how they turned out before I go crazy with the next round, but we also need to get working on the next round for rolling them out. So guess I'm going to check on my dough ball. It's cold to the touch. It's not extremely firm. I wish it was a little firmer. I guess I'll let it keep resting. Okay. Yes, we need the scientific method because I tried doing it all at once and assuming I was right last time, and it super failed. So we're taking it slow. We're going it step by step. We can't put them in the freezer for a short time because the freezer is about as full as it can be. Oh, you mean the ball? Ooh, I could probably make room for the ball. I'll think about it. Oh, okay. They have firmed up on the top. They're a little bit uneven. They're a little bit like lumped up a little bit. I said a little bit too many times in that sentence. Okay. Then, we have to think about the frosting. I was talking to some of you about how I made the frosting last time. I was following a recipe. Some of you were here. We started with softened coconut oil, to which we added powdered sugar until it formed a paste to the right consistency. That was supposedly the idea, to make a very basic, like Oreo cream filling. The amounts that it recommended me were so far off that if I had followed them, I would never have managed to attain a cream filling. So this time, I'm going to say screw it. I'm not going to use the coconut oil. I'm going to go with the icing method of adding powdered sugar to a liquid. It tastes fine. The flavor was good. And I've still got a little lump of it here. Here. Oh, and now that it's room temperature again, it's soft and pliable. It was very hard when it was chilled. It hardened up a lot more than even the dough did. But now that it's room temperature again, it's soft and pliable. So we can try to use that. It tastes coconutty. I kind of want to say ditch the coconut because it might be more trouble than it's worth, and just do like a buttercream. But also today, I found on sale, because I always get everything on sale, bananas. A big bag of bananas for $1. because they're all a little bit old and have brown spots on them, which doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're extra ripe. So I wonder if I could like make a banana flavored cream filling. I'd have to wing that one. I could. That's the kind of thing that I can do by ear because it's not baking. So I have like the results are right in front of me before having to commit them to the oven. Okay, these guys are cool enough to pick up. So let's have a tester of one of them. So they stay just about the same size and shape, which is good. They smell chocolatey, not carbony. I wouldn't need much banana, no. But they're already kind of overripe, so that's perfect because they're pre-softened. I could sort of beat them, add sugar. It could work. So it doesn't look any different than it did than the burned ones, but it doesn't smell burned. It's actually leaving less residue on my fingers now that it's not blazing hot. Store-bought Oreos are stable room temperature. I'm not sure mine can be without going for the hydrogenated oils in the frosting. I think that's the issue. Or lard. But that's the issue. The fats that are in it. Anyways, I was going to taste test this guy. It's crisp. Not super hard. It hits you with the bitter chocolate right at the start. Probably because the exterior is dusted with just straight cocoa powder. It has a good consistency. It's not quite as crisp as a store-bought Oreo, but it's close. It also does not taste just like a store-bought Oreo. It tastes like a chocolate wafer cookie. So it's like a chocolate wafer cookie that hits you with a bitter note right at the start, right when you bite into it, and then mellows out into just a chocolate cookie flavor. That's not bad. I think that would be go really well with a frosting, actually. Pick of the devil, we have frosting right here. Right here. So let's grab 2 of our cookies. Okay, the whole cookies are leaving a bit of a residue on my hands, but they're also still a little bit warmer than that end piece. The little triangle piece is cooled off faster. They would also probably cool off faster if I took them off the oven because it does have a little bit of heat leakage out through the top. So it's keeping them from going full room temperature on me. Let's get them there and put our other sheet somewhere for storage. It's clean. I'll just put it back in the cupboard until I need it. I don't super mind the bitter. The recipe that I took this from did say why. It didn't just say use cocoa powder. It said why to use the cocoa powder in the to roll out instead of flour, and it was specifically to maintain the even dark brown color of the cookies. That flour will leave visible spots, but the cocoa powder will darken into the underlying cookie. But we're constructing a full Oreo. This is all ingredients from what I made on Saturday as well. This is the leftover frosting and the leftover dough. Still a little bit too warm. They're a tiny bit soft in the middle. And as you can see, when they're a tiny bit soft, they come off on your fingers a little bit. But it's firm. Like it's... Okay. Take our tester. So you're going to have to wash your hands after eating these, I think. Mmm. Mmm. Okay. The sweetness of the cream does, like, first of all, I bit into it and it held together and I got a bite out of it. That's step number one. The first bite I took out of the carbonized ones from Saturday, I don't know if you guys could see it. It almost just shattered when I finally bit into it because they were so hard. But it bit like an Oreo, cooked. You know, the cream is distinctly coconutty, but the sweetness of the cream does complement the bitter flavor of the cookie very, very well. Um, I don't know that I'm the hugest fan of the coconut cream flavor. Now that I have a good tasting cookie to go with it, I think the coconut flavor might be the issue. I but I've got a successful cookie there. I'm gonna one more test. I got one more test. And it's the most indulgent of all the tests. Get back over to the countertop. The most indulgent of all tests. Get out your whiskey glass. Put heavy cream in your whiskey glass. Dip in heavy cream. Which gives us a beautiful coating. You know, it's less impactful than when I do it with regular Oreos. I do this with regular Oreos sometimes. And I think it's because they have that textured surface that really can grab extra cream. It makes it creamier and it moistens it, but it doesn't taste just like cream. Also, I think my chocolate flavor is more pronounced than an actual Oreo. Still good. I'm still having another dip. But yes, using heavy cream as your cookie dip is extremely indulgent, and I recommend you try it sometime, but not frequently. Okay, I left that one in there a little bit longer, and it picked up more of the cream. I actually prefer it slightly moistened with the cream. They're a tiny bit dry, and I think that's just because they're real Oreos use hydrogenated oils to make the consistency happen. So if you don't use those, natural fats and oils don't have those scientifically perfect properties. So they're a little drier than an Oreo, despite having a little bit of buttery residue on your fingertips. But yeah, I think they have a more pronounced chocolate flavor. Ooh, that's an idea. That's an idea. Tiny Whisk doesn't have anything to do in this episode either, so Anyways, I quite like that. I quite liked that first batch. I think we can do that again. And we can attempt to wrangle up some more icing. I could try, I've got cream, as you just saw, so we could try making a cream-based icing. We could try making a banana-based icing, or we could try to make more of this coconut icing, but skip the coconut oil part and just solidify it with coconut milk, which I've got plenty of. I bought this tiny can of coconut milk, and we used like 1 tablespoon of it last time. Anyways, I think that was pretty good. If I do toot my own horn, I think that was pretty good. Toot toot. Maybe. That's an idea. See, I don't. This pan is much larger, and I don't have a good place to put it very close at hand. Last time I propped it on top of my trash down here. So I guess we're just going to do that again. You can't see it when it's down there. So you'll have to trust me, except that I need to cover it in a parchment. Well, gosh, I was super worried coming into this because we had such a fail. Because it was such a fail on the first try. That I wouldn't be able, that it was some inherent problem that I wouldn't be able to solve. But it turns out it was just a matter of I didn't trust the recipe and thus didn't listen to it when it said, cook them for 15 minutes and then they'll be ready, even though it described how they would be wrong. It said they would be firm and dry, and they super were not. Even this time, they super were not. They were still soft to the touch. But we need to roll out some more. And I need to scrape some of these little bitty bits up off here with the scraper that I washed the scraper. I did wash the scraper. Why did I wash the scraper? Golly. Get things out of the way. Why is this still out? Why is this still out? No wonder I have no room. No wonder. Get those chunks out of there. Actually, since I need some more of the powder, we're just gonna spread it around. Fortunately, this cocoa dust, even though it makes everything look terribly dirty, actually cleans up pretty easily. So this isn't as much of a mess as I had feared it was going to be when I first saw that it said use cocoa powder for the dusting. I thought that was just going to be, oh man, this is it. Brown stains forever. But it cleans up pretty easily, ultimately. Okay, let's check on our dough ball. Ooh. Just barely springs back when I touch it. It's nice and firm, cold to the touch. Get into it here. Take it straight in half. Look at the interior, nice and even. Grab half and lay it out. And roll up the other. Boy, we've got enough of this. We could make who knows what with it. We could do experiments. Now that I think I've got a handle on it. Also, I'm going to see if this one maybe tastes different because it hasn't been resting for several days. Oh yeah, and it already feels easier to roll. It doesn't crack as much. It still cracks a little bit. And I think that's just the nature of this dough that has so much cocoa powder in it. My rice is beeping. Okay. I've gone from trepidation to upbeat. I think I rolled them out a bit thinner than I did on Saturday as well, which will have helped. I think they ended up being too thick because I was having a hard time with the structural integrity when they were very thin, and I'm having a hard time now too. It's stuck underneath and broke. So I guess I'll put those together and roll them out this way. Oh, and it stuck immediately because I was a fool and saw it was going to stick. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Back to the ball phase with this one. Dust generously. Roll. Dust. Flip. Dust. Roll. Flip. Okay. Aggressive dusting is what I was missing. How's our thickness looking? I'm not good at eyeballing it from the top. I have to lean down and look edge on to see if the thing is the right thickness and also even. That's probably good. That's probably good. Let's get punching. How many do we think we can get out of this one? It's very smooth. I don't know how I call it velvety. It's actually very smooth, except when I freshly dust it. Oh, and I just noticed it just before I started streaming today. I, as of yesterday, hit my follower milestone here on the old Twitch. Oop. So that's exciting. I don't know who followed me. Well, I do. I'm not gonna call them out because that would be rude. Follows on days when I'm not streaming are always a little bit odd to me. I guess they saw my pictures or caught a VOD or something and popped back in. But yeah, so I hit the milestone, and now we can call up the bigwigs, Twitch, and say, "Hey, I did that thing you wanted me to do. Make me official." I think because I post results, all of my results of all of my streams onto a whole bunch of Discords, onto my Twitter, and then I also post go live on my Twitter. So I think that has helped me catch a little bit of an edge in this early phase. Because I've definitely got some people who followed me on Twitter that I have no other connection to because they saw my delicious things and was like, yes, that is what I would like. More of that. I'm hoping they may have followed me over here. But who knows? Thanks, Chemical. I'm amazed at how quickly it seems to have turned around for me. I've heard horror stories of people being stuck in limbo for years. But yeah, I'm very hyped about it. Very much excite. Very wow. Other things Doge says. Ooh. These guys are a little bit stickier. Yeah, some go right, blaze right to the top, and some languish in obscurity for a decade. And some get offered a deal to go join Mixer and then abandon the platform because who the heck even wanted to watch Mixer when it was a thing? Now it's completely dead. Yes, I'm referring to Ninja. Good old Ninja. These cookies are quite a bit softer than the first batch. And they're sticking a bit more as well. I'm getting some deformities as I scrape them off. I also didn't punch out an even number, so that's a factor that I'm going to have to... Oh, and I broke one. Shoot. Well, fortunately, this dough is rather forgiving in the whole pinching together. Microsoft loses money on everything. I don't know how they stay in business, honestly. Every side project seems to be just a disaster. No, I'm going to bake that one that broke. I mean, it might not end up as a sandwich. It might end up as an individual cookie. I might not make all these into sandwiches either. They're pretty good as just chocolate cookies, honestly. So should I? Here's the question: should I take the risk and do all of it, or not take the risk and just do part of them now. Feel like I should do this half of the dough with our newfound knowledge of what they're supposed to look like when they come out of the oven. Rather than risk the entire dough ball like I did. I bet they'll be fine too, but boy, when we get to the fish, that's going to be a heck of a change of gears. I could save the other for another day as well. It kept quite well. I would have to do them soon. I don't know that it'll keep. Oh, it's already trying to stick. This half has warmed up quite a lot as well. I have to get in under it. This little blob that's left here has warmed up noticeably and is already trying to stick to the countertop again. I do have another project I wanted to do tonight, which is the fish. So I'm going to go with, we're going to do this half of the dough ball. Oh. Well, I'm going to do this half of the dough ball. Save the other half for another day. Maybe I'll make a cookie pizza. Oop, that one's going to be a little bit thin on that edge. Oh, but that's okay, because so's that one. And I'm not going to save the scraps here for anything special. I'm just going to do what I did with the scraps on the small dough ball and turn them into irregular triangle cookies. Honestly, this whole thing would be easier if I just made all of my Oreos triangles instead of circles. That's going to be my pro tip. Oreos would be better if they were triangles. I suppose it's more of a hot take than a pro tip. Hot take. Nabisco, stop being cowards and make triangle Oreos. A couple of these are going to be a little bit weird in this one because they did go really close to the edge and are a little bit thin as a result. I also want to clean this bench up. So, well, I left room for more, but I didn't actually put that many more on there. So I guess I'll move that one there and then space out the row a little bit. Perfect. And then we just push this together. It's like Play-Doh, but actual dough. It's like actual dough. Take that guy, go hoack, hoack. Scrape it up. pop them on the sheet wherever they fit. Bob's your uncle. Okay, let's wake up my tablet again. Timer is already saved. Cookies, oven, combine. Timer, go. So yes, I'm not doing the other half of the dough ball, so I'll put stuff away and clean up while that's happening, and then we can jump over to the fish because it is already 6:30. I'm sure, Bookwoman, you want to go to your own dinner at relatively soon. I know that, and I'm getting a little hungry too, so I'm not looking to. That's another factor. I'm getting a little bit hungry. One cookie is not a full dinner. We didn't make the more frosting. I don't know why it just hit me. It just hit me. I didn't make the frosting. But I need the fish. I'm gonna make the frosting off. Oh, why didn't you start? Okay, well, I don't know how many minutes I just lost, but my timer didn't start when I hit start, and I turned my back on it. So here we are again. Eyeballing stuff. 1.5 to 2. Okay. I will check on them at 13. Well, my hands were all goopy, and I tried to hit it with my elbow, and I guess I didn't hit it properly. This needs to be cleaned up before I can do anything else. That's the factor. I should use the scraper for this. Also, welcome back, Chemical. I missed your unlurk. I know you didn't just come back, but okay. Rewash that anyways. Oh, I know what I'll use. This is the perfect application for one of these. This is an unbranded Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. So it's not a Mr. Clean. It's a Monsieur Wash. It comes in at a tiny fraction of the price of a Mr. Clean. Oh. Ooh. Pressure cooker / air fryer. But not an Instant Pot. Pressure cooker / air fryer. That's an odd combination. I would love to see more about it. That's an odd combination of things. This is the part where if you're watching a cooking show, wait, you are watching a cooking show. This is where the part where if you're watching a good cooking show, they would cut and then they'd return and the countertop would be all cleaned and the chef would not have done it. The stage crew would have done it. And they would have done it quickly and efficiently. But you're here instead. So you get to watch me wipe up brown stuff. Everyone's favorite part of the kitchen, wiping up brown stuff. My stage crew doesn't have hands. They just watch. Okay. Okay. This guy, get my slightly dusty, oh, very dusty. Color correcting sheet. This guy. Now, the idea I'm having for this thing, this is the large. Here's the large cast iron. As you can see, my attempt to season resulted in some spottiness. So it needs to get used more to even that out. But we're not using that today because it's too big. So we're using the small cast iron, which is that much smaller. Oh, Jen, you haven't seen The Gentleman. The Gentleman have a story. I can tell you the story of The Gentleman. We can get them out and have them oversee us. They're just usually kind of in the way. But The Gentleman, I found this one at Goodwill for $1 and could not figure out what the heck it was. Like, nobody chime in if you actually know what it is. But what do you think this thing is? When it's just, especially when it's just one of them. Obviously there's a pair of them, but there's our fish. I couldn't figure out what the heck it was, and we were doing some research on the matter, on the dilemma of what the heck is this thing. I picked it up because I specifically wanted it to be like a mascotty thing for this. Like, this seems to be what it's designed for, as far as I can tell, which is just bizarre. Oh, oh, okay. Eh. I didn't realize they folded the end under. It's even thinner than I thought it was. That might be really hard to do a sear on. Do a quick rewash of the hands before I dive in too much farther on them. I guess they folded the fish. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just thicker on that end, but I got a whole side of a small. It's like a slightly smaller fish, but it was a whole side. Um, I've seen them do that every once in a while, but I haven't seen them do it with salmon, and I haven't seen them do it with a fancy salmon. So I wasn't expecting that. I'm cleaning off the rolling pin while I'm over here because it's wood and the stuff will soak into it if it gets left too long. I figured while I was doing a wash of my hand. So this is a salad fork and spoon set. Oh, Felix, you haven't heard the story of the salmon. I just threw the wrapper away. This is not just any salmon. This is the world's best salmon. This is a side of Copper River salmon that I got for less than half price, not short dated. They're just trying to clearance it. This salmon was selling for $27.99 a pound. And I say, at that price, it's worth it. I picked up this side for $8.90 something, just shy of $9. It was a last chance at Copper River deal. And I jumped on it. Anyways, yeah, this is the gentlemen are a salad set, which is bizarre because they look completely useless for a salad tossing set. Here's the plan I have with the fish. I want to try doing a really quick sear. It does have the skin on, so, and I'm not going to go through the trouble, because this is such a thin piece, of trying to plane it out. I'm going to attempt to use the sear to make it release from the skin. But I want to do this in pieces. Rather than all at once. So I think I'm going to take off right where they folded it. And heck, it's not short dated. It's going to keep, it says it's good until tomorrow. So it's short, now it's short dated now that I've gotten it. I picked it up a couple days ago. Saved it for this. And I guess I understand why this particular piece was in the bin. It's got a little bit of a break there. It's got a little bit of a break there. It's not in pristine condition. But if we come down to it, I might save a chunk of it and do something else with it. Just use like that piece and then that piece. So the the action is going to move over here in a sec. And as I mentioned, I'm going for simplicity on it because I don't want to cause trouble with the delightful fish. Oh, and my rice beeped, which means that's done, so I can bring that in from the other room. We can unplug it, bring it in. And we can give thought to, so far I've got rice and fish. And I was going to make a salmon-based rice bowl, but it doesn't have to be pure salmon. I have some other ingredients. Here's our rice, ready to go, piping hot. But yeah, so. And before I forget it, cookies. They're out. They came out. Oh my god. I took them out a minute ahead. Let's so they're a little bit soft on top, just like the last one, but they're firm on the edges. So I think we got away with it, despite my missing the timer, or missing starting the timer. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Everything's working, which has me super jived for getting the fish to work. That pan just has to be blazing hot because we're going for a quick sear. I should get my. Oh, everyone always says how nice these are, so I'm going to use one of these guys. The bowl with little decorative olives around the edge. I guess I thought they were just kind of okay bowls. Every time I put something in them and take pictures of it, everyone's like, "Ooh, look at the fancy dish." So, okay. Everyone else thinks they're fancy. I'm not going to argue. I'm doing this off the side where nobody can see it. For no actual reason, just because I'm out of room. The real reason you can hardly see what I'm doing in the kitchen every time I cook is that I have no room and have to cram everything into this tiny little spaces. Okay, okay. Are you hot yet? Where did I put the bottle? There's the bottle. Are you hot yet? The oil's not smoking, but it's running like water, and it shimmers when it's sitting still. So I'm going to call that hot. I'm going to get a spatula ready, and I'm going to take a piece of fish. I'm going to take a plate and put it right next to them. I'm going to move the cookies back. Plate right next to it. Going to take the tail piece of fish I just cut and put it in there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Didn't quite get it on that edge, which is annoying. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Wow, that was quick. That was quick. Hot pan, about 10 seconds on each side. Let's see what it looks like in the middle. And let's see if it's any good. I can always put it back on if I think it deserves more heat. We're going to get out a small, sharp knife. That was so quick. A lot of you probably missed it. But I'm going to... Gentlemen, resume your oversight so that I may move the big piece of fish back. Get this guy to the front. Okay, this is our seared salmon. It went pink real quick. And it's hot on the surface. And on the inside, we have just about raw. I think it actually could stand to sit on the skin side longer, and probably both sides, honestly. Because it doesn't look like it actually cooked much of anything on the skin side. The skin is a better insulator. So the top is nice. The inside is just gorgeous. I think it could stand a little more time on the skin just because the skin doesn't seem to want to release. I'm going to taste this piece. I'm actually going to cut through the skin. Oh, the skin's pretty tender. Oh, my pan is smoking in the meantime. Ooh. Oh my, that's really good, guys. Oh my god. Wow, it's so good. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but it's so good. Uh, it has the flavor of cooked salmon and the flavor of the raw salmon in the middle. It's the skin is actually tender to the bite. I can like no difficulty biting straight through the skin. It's warmed to the middle, but obviously not cooked pink flaky. It just has a wonderful, clean, salmony flavor to it. Well, I'm making you jealous now. Just wait. We're getting on to the plating phase, which everyone tells me I'm good at for some reason. That one's a little bit mushed up, so that one's going to be hidden. That one's a little bit mushed up, so that one's probably going to be hidden. That's an end piece, so I don't know. Everyone says I'm so good at plating. Billy tells me I'm good at plating occasionally. Uh, I am going to take another piece of this and sear it off again to finish this. I'm licking the juice off my fingers. So we're taking another little chunk off of this guy. surprised at how tender the skin is. I wonder if that's because it's a smaller fish. Because the farmed ones are those like the big. It is finger licking good. The farmed ones are always such large fish when they harvest them. And this one was obviously a bit smaller because that was a whole side. And he was only 2 feet long probably. Um, this is the start of my plating. I need more slices. And then I'm going to give it a drizzle of sesame oil, a drizzle of soy sauce, not sesame seeds. So we still have that furikake in there. I'm going to give it a little shake of furikake. I know Copper River is only wild caught, and I think I was commenting because farm salmon is always harvested when they're certain size, whereas this stuff, because it's wild caught, they get whichever thing it is that they catch, which means some of them are smaller. And I'm wondering if this one, just because it was a bit smaller, doesn't have as thick a skin. Those farm salmons always seem to have a very thick, unpleasant skin. I took the pan off the heat because it was starting to smoke a little bit, so I got to wait for it to come back up to temp. Oh, should get you guys over there as well. Oh, and we need the staging plate. Now this is also wild caught fish, so I'm gonna if I was sponsored by the USDA or US UF whatever their acronym is, do not consume raw or undercooked fish. Risk of foodborne illness. Blah blah blah. And this is wild caught, so risk of stuff and blah and stuff. You know, you know. You people aren't dumb. Okay. Part 2. Get in there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to let that side actually go a little bit more to try to get the skin side just a hair more. Well, I hate to say it. Second verse is not same as the first. I think the second verse is better. Look at that piece of fish. They're larger too. I'm gonna. These should be the bottom layer actually, for plating. Save some of these small ones to put right on the top. Fill out the bottom layer with these big guys. Boy, I bet you if I hadn't, if this hadn't been a bargain bin one and I had just gotten the nicest piece that I could find, um, this would be a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous plating. It's breaking a little bit. I think that's because this one was passed over because it was a little bit broken right in the middle. Uh, those two pieces was plenty of fish for me, though. I'll be able to save that other part and do something else with it. Um, I can show off some of those delightful mushrooms that I just received in a mushroom and fish plating. This is quite a lot of salmon, actually. Um, get them to meet in the middle. Wash my hand. This reminds me of a what you call it? The raw meat pounded thin, served as an hors d'oeuvre. Okay. It does need a little bit of complementary flavors, so we are giving it a drizzle of sesame oil. I want that one. I think I want. I'm not gonna pour that directly on there. We're not gonna risk that. Some balsamic. Some of this stuff. This being, oh, I dropped it in my fish. That's not good. It's my nice plating. This is unagi sauce. For which we can call Tiny Whisk into service. To turn into a little bit of a thinner paste. And I think I want to add a hot component to it. Not going to use that one. That one's kind of overpowering. Let's put a quick glug of crystal in there. And then it's still a little bit too thick. Do it in a sort of a circle. Ooh, sharp. Oh no, I just said I wanted to use furikake instead of straight sesame seeds. Again, gentle touch with this stuff. Oop, okay, gentle touch except there. And where did that pink stuff go? Pink stuff. There you are. Oh, I'm going all in with this one. Pickled ginger flower in the middle. Lick the pickled ginger off my fingers. Okay. I'm going to take a picture of that. Let's go take a picture of this one and then come back and eat it and then sign off. Okay, boy, let me tell you, I started out today's stream thinking that this was going to be a challenging day to try to fix my errors, my Oreo catastrophe, and I'm coming out of it being like, boy, everything kind of went swimmingly. The cookies, I guess, are going to have to. They're going to get. Oops, that's the wrong light switch. The cookies are going to get posted as pictures a bit later because I'm going to whip up a quick icing and ice them. The cookie part was the part that was a challenge. We got a decent icing last time. I can just recreate that. So I'll turn those into Oreos and post them as pictures. This thing. Oh, and I'll do that in a sec. I suppose you want me to taste the finished product here. I tasted the individual piece of fish, but first of all, it's not quite tender enough for me to go through the skin with. Actually, is it? Oh my god! You can just barely break it without even a knife. Sticky rice, of course, holds together very, very well. That was the point in making a sticky version of the rice. You can take a little blob like this. Yeah, well, I oiled it as well, so. Ooh. Mmm. I may have put a touch too much sesame oil on there. When I bite into it, the first thing I hit is sesame oil. It doesn't stay and overpower everything, but it is the first thing that hits my tongue is sesame oil. So it's not ruining it, but for those of you following along at home, and I hope you have, because if you haven't, you're going to be very jealous and not able to eat this. A little bit less sesame oil. The other sauce, on the other hand, is a very good complement. It's a slightly sweet, slightly salty, slightly spicy, but there's not very much of any of it, so it's not fighting with the fish. The fish is the main event here. I'm very pleased with how easy it was actually to sear this. I was afraid it was going to stick because I started on the flesh side. And I was afraid it was just going to stick, but it released instantly. I probably could have cooked it all the way through without it sticking, if I wanted to. Very good, and I continue to be impressed with and surprised by how tender and easy to eat the skin is. It just melts in my mouth. It's just melting in your mouth. This is like, if you're not familiar with fish, but you are familiar with beef, Copper River salmon is the Wagyu of salmon. This is the Wagyu beef of salmon, which is why I just barely touched it to the heat, and I've just given it a quick light drizzle for a substantial amount of fish, and I've got quite a bit left. I'm going to enjoy this, but first, I'm going to send you guys off into the wild. I will take a request. I will take a raid suggestions at this time. Because I want to get in and enjoy that. So I will take raid suggestions. I would appreciate if you would stick with me just long enough to get with the raid. If you don't, even if you don't want to watch the channel I end up on, it helps the numbers if you just follow us through. It makes the person on the other end happy too. I only have 2 live channels right now in my list. We could go see Jen the Human, who is playing the Talos Principle, or a very large channel that probably would just get lost in the wash, and is playing a game I've never heard of. So that one might not be a good idea. Otherwise, I thought KL streamed on Tuesday, but I must be mistaken. Sizan votes for Jen the Human. We went and visited Jen once before playing The Dig, which I very, very much enjoyed. Okay, let's go. So, yes, I'm extremely happy with today. So everything sort of went very swimmingly. The cookies have come out great. This second batch are still a little... Oh, no, they're perfectly good. So this second batch came out pretty much just like the first ones did. They are a little bit domed, which just kind of tells me which side has to be the inside of the Oreo. But they have the same chocolatey flavor based on that little nibble I just had there. They're nice and firm. They came out well. I'll whip up a quick icing and slap them in there, and we'll post some pictures and brag about them. This fish bowl, this rice bowl with the fish, is... I'm not going to say it's the best thing I've made, because the best thing I've made here on the stream was that pork steak. That pork steak is going to be hard to top. This is very indulgent and decadent, though. This is a worthy, like, treat dish. And I'm glad I just barely cooked that fish so that I could really enjoy it to its fullest. We're in our countdown, so I will just say thanks for coming out. We'll see you in the next one.